Hey guys, welcome to the Tiger Topic. I'm Connor.
And I'm Sam. Today's Tiger topic is school motivation.
So, as Sam said, what we're talking about today is school motivation. And one reason that this topic has came up recently is that a lot of students between the Thanksgiving break and the Christmas break, there's about a 3 week span of school that we have to be here for, and it's kind of torture.
Without any extra breaks or days off.
Yeah, there's nothing else. We're just kind of here, and it's like a mood that we just got off, and so we don't want to be here anyways, and we're just kind of waiting for the Christmas break, and no one's excited, no one wants to be here, so we're looking for some kind of motivation to be here,
Desperate times call for desperate measures.
and so me and Sam are here to give you guys some reasons to be excited about school. Not in general, but just in this month, because in general, we wouldn't have any reasons for that.
Yeah, we're struggling with this right now, so yeah, I couldn't imagine what it would be like regularly.
So, I'm going to start us off here with the reason to stay motivated during this time, and that's Christmas is coming. Okay? But you know what? You will not get presents if you're not a good person. That's what I'm telling you.
Yeah, Santa knows.
Santa knows. Santa knows what your grades are. Santa knows how you've been acting in the hallways.
If you're trying, all that. So you gotta do good. You gotta try.
You really have to do your best because Santa knows. And if you want your presents, then you better do your best for Santa Claus.
Exactly.
So another reason that we have for you to stay motivated here, I would say, is do it for yourself. Okay, like for instance, I'm going to tell you guys right now, I have a 5.0.
So do I.
So we both have 5.0s, and we don't want to be motivated, and we might not want to be here, but you know what? We're always on that grind. We're on that school grind
Heck yeah.
for those good grades because we're here for our 5.0s. We're here for colleges. Colleges don't care if it's between Thanksgiving break and Christmas break.
They want 100% effort. If you can't do it for yourself, do it for the teachers because they want it to be over with too, but they still have to teach and they may not want to, but they still want you to try.
Yeah, so shout out to the teachers because and another thing, teachers, you guys might need some reasons to be motivated also. So I'll give you guys a reason to be motivated real fast. So a lot of you guys are parents or you have a family. And either way, listen, okay? Apparently, I've heard that family means a lot to adults.
That is probably true. Yeah.
Because after our last episode, a lot of adults maybe didn't like my view on Thanksgiving because they felt a little bit closer to their family than maybe kids our age feel. And so
A lot of disagreement on that.
yeah, yeah, maybe some other kids our age don't agree with that, but check our episode last week for that anyways. And so what I'm saying is that do it for your family, teachers. I mean, you know what? Your wife or your husband is at home right now.
And you got to make the bank.
You got to make the bank for them. Make the bank for your family. Make the bank for your wife. Make the bank for your husband. Make the bank for your kids, teachers, because every kid wants to grow up rich, all right? And if you don't grind between Thanksgiving and Christmas, you're not going to have rich kids.
Yeah, okay. So keep teaching. Do what you know how to do. Don't give up. Students are kind of counting on you. Maybe throw in some fun activities because they're getting bored. And if they're bored, more likely you're going to get bored too. And you're going to want to stop. So throw in some fun activities and games.
Which another thing that has to do with is Spirit Week that we're having here at the high school. Now, Spirit Week, I believe it's something to keep you guys motivated here. So Spirit Week is December 9th to the 13th. So Monday.
Next week, the week from when we are recording this.
Yes, this is next week. So you are going to, on Monday, wear your comfy pajamas and slippers. And then Tuesday it is dress up day for your class. So seniors are blue, juniors are white, sophomores are red, freshmen are green. And then moving on to Wednesday.
Wednesday is holiday socks and beanie. Thursday is swinter. This is kind of interesting. It's wear your summer clothes in the winter. And last day, Friday, it's ugly Christmas sweaters. So if you got one from someone who made it to you, shout out to all the grandmas out there who make sweaters for their kids. It doesn't matter what it looks like, okay? You're going to wear it Friday. You got to support your family.
You got to support. You got to support with those Christmas. And by the way, I don't think they're ugly. I'm not going to call them an ugly. I think that they're beautiful. Beautiful Christmas.
Exactly. That's the spirit.
They're beautiful Christmas sweaters. And so, everyone make sure that you guys participate there in our week next week with Student Council, I believe, makes those.
I think so, yeah.
So, yeah, everybody participate with Student Council and
kind of just spice it up a bit, get the Christmas vibe going, but also just focusing on school as well.
And also, that's one way to keep you motivated. That's something to be excited about. I remember last year for homecoming week, we had a meme day.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And so Student Council, I don't know how the students feel about this, but I really think we got to bring back some meme day.
For Christmas.
Christmas meme day.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Christmas memes out there.
Okay.
That's another way to keep yourself motivated. Check out the Christmas memes online. Check out some new memes.
Teachers, you too. You can do that too. Just find a good meme, go with it, and kids will love you.
Maybe some boomer memes. I mean, there's a lot of good memes out there right now. And so that's one thing to keep yourself motivated.
Both teachers and students.
Yeah, don't forget teachers. I mean, you guys can just check out the Wi-Fi, check out the Snap Face, and there's a lot of memes going around, especially about Christmas. I mean, Christmas is coming up, and that's a big deal for everybody, including the people in the meme world.
Yeah, and the more you look at it, the more fun you'll get. And not only will it help you expand your knowledge of memes, but you'll become more sociable with kids.
And so, that's just kind of where we're at right now with the memes, is the boomer.
Okay, boomer.
We had to fit that one in here.
Shout out to the boomers.
Shout out to the boomers. And more importantly, shout out to the teachers of RCHS who will be checking out those memes now that we told them to.
Yeah, they better. If they don't, then it's their loss.
So what we're thinking is next week is the student council week with all of the dress up days that we just told you about. So we have 2 or 3 weeks left of school after that before Christmas break?
After next week?
After next week.
I think we have one more week.
One more week?
Yes.
So that last week is what? Just Christmas
Finals.
Spirit Week.
The very last week before Christmas is finals week.
Is finals. That's one thing to keep you motivated.
Yeah, don't do bad on your finals.
Yeah, we should probably move into finals. How many weeks we got left?
We got this week, next week, and then the week after that.
Oh. Wow.
Yeah, I got to get that studying in.
Yeah, so you guys better be ready for that final. You
can't be falling asleep during your final, guys. You can't do that.
There's a lot of people that do that. And
probably, yeah.
Have you ever seen somebody do I had somebody in one of my classes last year fall asleep in a final.
How did that go? No, don't shout him. Don't shout him out.
Well, let's just say my teacher wasn't exactly too proud.
Yeah, but they weren't motivated enough.
They weren't motivated enough, and that's why we're here for you guys.
For the kids who fall asleep.
For the kids who fall asleep in class. You guys got to be motivated, and if you don't fall asleep in class, you got to think about that. You never think you're going to be that kid until next thing you know, you wake up because the teacher smacked you with a book.
Boom, it happened.
It happens. It really does happen. And I remember last year, Mr. Dobbs, he wouldn't smack kids, no. But he would take a book, and whenever he felt like the class wasn't paying attention, he would take his textbook and slam the desk
next to him.
Right next to him. And it always got a lot of fun reactions.
Yeah, and he's retired now, but thank you, Mr. Dobbs, for all that you did.
Really, Mr. Dobbs deserves an episode just for Mr. Dobbs. I mean, we could talk about Mr. Dobbs all day.
I'm sure we could. He's a great teacher, and I'm really glad that he gets to come back and substitute sometimes.
And Mr. Dobbs, if you're in this building right now, I really hope that you're hearing this. If not, you're probably hearing this online, and you're probably thinking, oh my gosh.
What happened to these kids? I
What
taught them
happened?
both.
I taught both these kids. I will say that I do know what a cold front is now.
And a warm front.
And I really want to thank you for that, but I'm not sure how refrigerators work still.
Or trains.
Oh gosh, not the trains. That was really tough. But for all you freshmen, one way to stay motivated is you don't have to take the refrigerator test now.
That's true.
Be very, very thankful that you don't have to take the refrigerator test now.
Be very thankful.
Barry, because Mr. Barry teaches Mr. Dobbs' class now. But I do want to say one story about the refrigerator test is last year, Sam Ball,
Yep.
the man right here with us today, I went to a soccer game. I went to one of his soccer games, and on the way, he was studying for this test. For those of you who don't know, that's like a really, really big test.
Oh, yeah, it's huge. There's tons of essay questions, and you have to memorize a bunch of stuff.
And, of course, me and a lot of my friends in my class just kind of blew off the test.
They're more into winging tests.
Yeah, we wing tests. And
Unlike me, I like to study a bit before.
although, I still have a 5.0, so
That's
winging
true.
it might work just as much as studying it. But either way, Sam decided to spend a lot of time studying for this test. And then we did the test. Mr. Dobbs had 3 blocks. And we all took the test. And he came back and told us.
Yeah, Connor was in the block before me last year.
Yeah, and so I helped Sam a lot. Like, whenever there was tests.
Well,
Whenever there was tests, I would have lunch with him. So I would have science and then lunch, and then he would
and
have.
then I would go to science after that.
Yeah, so during lunch, I would be telling him what the tests are like. So shout out to students. One way to stay motivated: help each other,
You gotta stick together through these difficult times.
especially during tests. And teachers, shout out to teachers. Students are gonna help each other.
Let that happen.
Let that happen, because you know what? The students deserve that A, even if it requires help. So anyways, what happened is all of us took our refrigerator tests, and Mr. Dobbs came back and told our class that, maybe the grades weren't so amazing, and the average was like a D or something. It was pretty rough, and he told us that test was going to ruin a majority of our grades.
And Connor told me this over lunch. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm sure our class might be different, I don't know exactly how they did, but I think that it'll be not bad, So I walk into Mr. Dobbs' class after lunch. We sit down, and he kind of just looks at all of us, and he goes, yeah, your tests weren't that good, so I threw them all out. And at that point, I was like, no way.
And this is a true story. Our classes did so bad at the refrigerator test that it would ruin so many of our grades that Mr. Dobbs threw out the test and just didn't count it. We took a different test. That was a lot easier.
It was a lot easier. And at that moment when he said that, I kind of just looked at him with my mouth open. I'm just like, what the heck, Mr. Dobbs?
Yeah. And
I
Sam
spent
was the
so
only one.
long.
Sam was the only one. I swear, no one else was excited for that. No one really thought about it because we all
They didn't
knew.
have the motivation.
Yeah, we didn't have that motivation that Sam Ball had. But that's another lesson that you can take from today. Sometimes motivation isn't good. And sometimes studying isn't good.
Well, I don't know if we're gonna go that route.
I mean, I don't actually study that much actually.
Yeah, that's true. But if you're struggling, maybe studying can't help unless the test gets thrown away. Then you're screwed.
But if you just so happen to study really, really hard while the rest of your class doesn't, and then the test gets thrown away, then that is a case where studying is not the case of what you should be doing.
But I don't think they're going to be doing that during the finals. So, you know what? Study as much as you can, or as much as you want to, I guess. If you're having trouble studying, then listen to this podcast on loop. Maybe you'll find some motivation.
And, right now, if you guys need some tips for studying, then we're going to give you some tips for the finals here. So, first of all, what I want to give a tip on, and this might be false, but from my experience as a student at this district, and I just mean as a student, if a question asks you, is the answer this, or true or false, blah, 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 blah. If you don't know the answer, say true. If it's really specific information, they don't make that up very much. And that's going to get you an extra 1 or 2 points on your final. So you're welcome.
That's true. And another tip for the final is don't study, don't cram the night before, okay? That's way too much on your brain. You're going to overload it, and then the next day, all the information will be gone, and you will have forgotten most of the test.
And I would say like a 3-day plan would be a nice one.
3 days?
3 days to study. Because, some people...
Depends on how big your final is, I
Some
guess.
people are going to study for like a week or 2. I will study for about 3 minutes the day of the final.
Which is, I do not recommend that.
I don't recommend that either. I just do that, and I do really, really good on that. I just know what I'm doing.
Yeah, okay. But yeah, I recommend spacing out the studying. It helps you retain more information. And that's also a lesson that Mr. Dobbs taught our class. He said that exact same thing because he did that in college. He would study the night before, stay up super late, and then the next day he was just so tired, and it didn't work out. So.
And being tired, that's another, we talked a little bit about earlier, falling asleep during a final. And that's my second tip is stay awake during your finals. That's a really good tip because some people might not know, but there is a 100% chance that if you sleep through your test, you will do worse than if you stay awake.
That is correct. And one way you can help that is getting sleep the night before, right? Don't stay up too late because you're going to have to get up the next morning, take some finals, and it's not going to be good. So get some sleep.
Yeah, and eat a healthy breakfast. I don't eat breakfast, but I will admit, and I don't study for finals, but I will admit that on finals days, I do eat breakfast.
It helps, yeah.
It's a good way. In fact, in middle school, whenever we took the park test, they used to give us, Mr. Houchin and Mrs. Edwards would hand out candy bars. Or like
I don't think they
nutrition
were
bars.
candy bars.
They weren't candy. I don't eat candy. They were
Nutrition
bars. They were like grain bars. And basically students would get to eat them before we took our park test. And it was actually really, we felt like royalty.
Yeah, not during the test because we didn't want to take it, but
in
that moment where we were eating that bar, we felt so powerful.
Yeah, we really did.
So eat a healthy breakfast.
Eat a healthy breakfast, especially on finals days. In 6th grade, whenever we took our park testing, I remember that I got in trouble that day. Okay, and
oh boy,
and we took tests all day for park testing. So it would be like we were in the same room, every block taking different tests. It would be like language arts tests and then math or whatever, or sometimes science. And in 6th grade, my teacher was Mrs. Tyler. And so I got in trouble this day. And obviously, like I said, we were in the same classroom every day, every block. And so I had to go to Mrs. Tyler's right after lunch. And so what happened was I got in trouble during lunch, and I had to stay after. I wasn't supposed to stay after, but I was supposed to basically sit at this table on my own. It was lunch detention, kind of. And
that sounds exactly like lunch detention.
It was exactly lunch detention. And what ended up happening is they didn't dismiss me because they forgot to dismiss me.
Oh.
Which is really my fault for not leaving because they dismissed everyone. I'm guessing that they dismissed me and I just didn't notice. I don't pay attention a lot. And so I was sitting there, I'd say an extra 5 to 10 minutes after lunch, and we were supposed to be testing. So after a while, I got up and asked one of the cooks if I could leave.
So you could take tests.
So I could take my test. And I got up there, and actually Mrs. Tyler's test was waiting for me. So the
Oh.
whole class, because they couldn't start the test without me,
Oh, that's
because I
true.
couldn't come in the middle of it. So I postponed our 6th grade testing in Mrs. Tyler's class for about 10 minutes.
Gives that more time to study.
Yeah, that was really the plan. I got in trouble on purpose so that to make sure that they could go home, get about 8 hours of sleep, which is the healthy recommended thing for a doctor for our age, come back to school, eat a healthy breakfast, and then
Get more
study.
time after lunch to digest that food.
Yeah, and then study more. And then that's whenever I, pull up to the party, and that's whenever we took our test.
Yeah. And see, he did okay because he got that sleep, he ate that breakfast, and he had more time to eat lunch.
As I always do, because I am on the finals grind every day, whether we have finals or not.
Yeah, and you guys should be on that grind too coming up. So thank you for watching. Hopefully you listened to some of our tips, and good luck on the final.
We are going to see you next week with the Tiger Topic podcast.